Hi guys, hope you're doing well. Another rainy day here in the UK. Standard. Another 10 Taycan tips. Hope you find these useful. If you do, please do kindly consider a like and a sub as a way of thanks for putting this together. Share it around a bit. Very much appreciated as always. But without further ado, let's crack straight on with tip number one. Tip number one is the wing mirror dip function. Now, if I put the car into reverse like so, you'll find that this mirror over here will dip down. Now, it dips down into the position that I have previously set using these controls here. So this position, any adjustments I make now will be that dipped mirror position. It will remember that. And then next time we come back to it, the mirror will be dipped into that same position. It is very handy if you want to get a better eyeball on perhaps that back wheel, maybe not using this screen here. This function I find very handy for looking at curbs so that you don't damage your very expensive alloy wheels on this car. So it is a handy function to know. But if you are in dipped mode like so, and you want to then not be in dip mode whilst reversing, you simply select the alternative wing mirror with this control here, and you'll find that that mirror is returned straight to the normal position should you want to adjust it. If you click the other button, it will indeed pop back down just like that. Now obviously if you're in a right-hand drive country, you just want to reverse that process. But handy to know if you are one for getting an actual eyeball onto what's happening in real life and maybe don't want to rely on this, or it's a bit dark, or whatever other reason. Good one to know. Tip number two is the smart lift function, accessed by this button here. Now, I have smart lift enabled, so if I press that so it's blue, you will find that I get a pop-up here saying, would I like to remember using the lift in this location? So that means whenever I come back to this location, the smart lift will automatically activate. Good if you regularly come up to the same speed bumps or same ramps, etc. And you want to ensure that you've remembered that it automatically is activated for you, right? The car does it for you instead of you having to remember. How do you access it? Well, you click on settings here, and then you scroll down to where it says car. Click on car, and then you should see smart lift right here. This is where you activate and deactivate that smart lift function. If you want to disable or delete locations that have previously been remembered, these are just examples I have in here, you can see the locations that you've previously activated smart lift. I can simply swipe to disable a previously remembered location. It is as simple as that. Also, if I activate, or should say deactivate smart lift whilst I'm in a smart lift location, it will say I've previously activated smart lift in this location, and would I like to disable that? Tip number three is this, the electric boot. This isn't the actual tip. Everyone of course knows that Taycans have electric boots, but it is the clearance here. Now you'll notice that the boot sits higher than the roof of the car when it's raised. Now let's just say you're in somewhere with a really low ceiling, a garage or transport or something. You want to open the boot, but of course you don't want this, your nice paint job, to impact on whatever ceiling that may be. So what do? Well, there is actually a function that not a lot of people know about here. You can pull the boot down to where you want it to open to. So let's just say that's lower, safer. And then you get under here like so. And then you press this button here, the boot button, for 3 seconds. You'll hear that beep, and then that will be the new position for the boot raise. So if I close that like so, and then I open the boot, there we go, the new boot opening position. A bit safer if you have somewhere with a low ceiling. To reset it, simply raise it back to full extent, hold that button, see the flash there, and that's it, reset. Tip number four is a bit of a maintenance one, really. Not exciting, but something you need to do, and it's in here. You'll see in here these vents, if I can just Get the camera to focus in on those. These vents here, you need to spray water into those to keep them clean. They are the vents for the HVAC system, and they have a fan in there. What can happen is that fan gets clogged up with debris, stones and grit, and that'll stop it from functioning properly and can indeed throw errors inside the car and prevent the car from being cooled properly or potentially overheated. Also, you might hear a ticking sound or a knocking sound as the fan spins and impacts on any of that debris. So you've got to keep those clean. The newer Taycans have a revised rubber trim under here that lets the moisture and debris out. Unfortunately, this is an older one and it is indeed a problem. So get the jet washer in there and spray in that. Do it on both sides of the car. That's a good one to know. Tip number 5 is the ACC. I currently have mine set to 40 miles an hour in a 40 mile an hour limit. Hence that green bar you can see is set to 40. That is my set speed, very straightforward. The white bar is my actual speed. So the white bar represents the speed I'm actually doing. And that white arrow, that little white arrow pointing inwards into the dial is indeed the speed of the car in front. Not a lot of people realize what that's actually for. Also, you can of course see the position of the car in front represented clearly in the middle of that dial as well. But it is handy to know, and you'll see as we pull off here, as the car in front moves away, you'll see that little white arrow on the outside. That shot up because the car in front has gone away. I can now engage my ACC again, move forwards, and you'll find that white bar increase as well. It is pretty straightforward, but also very handy to know. Tip number 6 is this, the fob. Let's just say you've left a pet in the car and you want to disable the interior motion detectors. You can simply disable those by double clicking the lock button on the fob. Like so, 2 clicks. That is it, that's all you need to do, and that will disable the interior motion sensors so that any pets in there don't trigger the alarm whilst you're away getting your coffee. And of course, never leave any pets in the car without ventilation on a hot day. Tip number 7 is this: if you have the comfort entry system, the keyless entry system on this, which I don't, you can open the front stroke fruit, whatever you want to call it, by swiping your fingers along like this. And effectively what will happen is this, just like so, and that will then enable you to get under here and open it as normal. Handy function to know, but really for me I think just using the correct button on the fob is probably the easiest. But yeah, if you've got your hands full, then how are you going to do that anyway? Is it a bit of a gimmick? I don't know, but it is indeed a function, and if you have that comfort entry, the keyless entry system, you have that available for your use. Tip number 8 is this: the ideal charge temperature for the battery. Now you'll see here my battery is currently at 8 degrees Celsius. So if I plug this into a rapid charger or an ultra rapid charger, more specifically right now, I'm not going to get a very good rate. The ideal temperature window for charging the lithium-ion batteries in the Porsche Taycan at the maximum rate is between 30 to 33 degrees Celsius. If it is lower than that or higher than that, you might not be able to pump the full juice, the full speed into a car, which isn't ideal if you're in a rush. So how do you circumvent that? How do you get around it? How do you ensure that your battery is at the right temperature? Well, you will find that just by driving the car, the battery temperature will rise because you're drawing power from it. That chemical reaction is causing heat and the temperature should go up. But if it is specifically cold, you might want to try putting it into Sport Plus for a while. That will heat the battery actively and get it up to temperature. Also, you can plan a route in your PCM system in the sat-nav. If there are any charging stops involved of using the Porsche charging service, then it will preheat the battery on your way to those rapid charging destinations, which is very handy to know. So that is a good one to know. Ensure that your battery is at the right temp before squeezing high-speed charging into it. Tip number 9 is the fact that you can't actually have both charge ports open at the same time. So you go into the battery menu here. You've got options for the charge port, the right-hand side and the left-hand side. The right-hand side being AC and the left-hand being DC and AC for rapid charging. If I open this one here, you'll hear that kick into life, and it is now open. I can't then open this side. Same on the outside as well. If I go round to the outside of the car, it won't let me open that port because this one is open. So I have to first close that one before I then select this port for opening. And you'll hear that it should now be open. And I'm not really sure as to why. I think the reason is to prevent you from plugging in an AC lead into both sides at the same time in the hope that you might get a faster rate or just trying to circumvent some systems. But it is a handy one to remember should you find yourself not understanding why your port on the other side isn't open, because this one might be inadvertently opened as well. Tip number 10, and this isn't a confirmed tip, but something I've been told is what should happen should your battery reach 0. So let's just say you're in that awful predicament where you reach 0% battery and the car shuts down. I am advised that once the car has shut down, you can come over to the start button here, press it again, and I'm told it will give you a final few hundred meters or something, potentially just to get you to a safe location. Let's just say you're stranded on the motorway or somewhere where you don't feel like you're very safe. That is the quick way, hopefully, out of that situation. Now, I've never tried this. If you've been in this unfortunate situation, please do let me know, but it would be a good one to hear about in the comments. So that is it for this video. I hope it was helpful. If it was, please do share it around. If there's any other Taycan owners you might know who could benefit from this, I'm sure it'll help them too. So do stay safe, stay well. See you on the next one, and bye for now.